Let's give you the update now on the business side of things. Local trade set to chase lost gains in early trade after the rand weakened to a 3-week low on Friday. This while Brent crude hits a fresh 7-year high and gold setting its worst monthly drop since September. Rella Suskin is head of research at Benguela Global Fund Managers. She joins us now for the latest update on what is moving the markets. Rella, good morning to you. Your sense of how the JSE is performing in early trade?
Good morning. Yeah, so the JSE seems to have opened a little bit higher this morning along with Asian stocks and some of the US futures. We're really seeing a bit of stabilization in the tech sector after seeing multiple days of these tech stocks decline. So we're obviously seeing the market finding a bit of balance there, some bargain hunting with some of the big names down quite substantially. And as you mentioned, some of the big news is around the record oil prices, and that's really on supply concerns with the political tension occurring between Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah, let's talk about South Africa's private sector credit, which grew by 2.58% year-on-year in December of 2021. Now, while the expansion is a broadly defined M3 measure of money supply expanded to 5.71% in December. Talk us through this data. What does it tell us about South Africa and how it is faring economically?
Sure. So, I mean, the private sector credit growth that you talked to, 2.5%, it certainly is a recovery from what we saw last year in 2021. But, I mean, it is important to note that the 2.5% growth is still much lower than we saw pre the COVID crash and COVID environment, where credit sector growth was growing at about 6% each month on a sort of a regular basis. So we are still quite behind those monthly levels pre-COVID. And it really does speak to, our consumers being constrained in South Africa. We saw retail sales out recently growing only 1.9%. Vehicle sales also seeing a softening growth up sort of 1.9% as well. So I think, people have taken benefits of the lower interest rates, and now that we see interest rates going up, we're likely to see consumers see a little bit more pressure.
Let's talk company news. Italtile publishing its voluntary trading statement. How did they perform?
Yeah, so it was a good result overall. They're expecting their earnings to grow between 7 and 10% for their 6-month performance. Remembering that this is off a very high base. Last year, the same time, Italtile, they were the owners of the Italtile brand and CTM, where people were these companies were benefiting from the work from home trend, people being stuck at home from lockdown, so people improving their homes. So last year, their earnings grew 30% off those trends. So to see earnings growth over and above that is really quite solid. But there is some sort of corporate transactions involved in that, which has lifted it, with underlying profit growth really looking more around inflation levels of about 4 to 5%.
Yeah, let's wrap it up with MTN Nigeria also releasing its results for the year, which ended December 2021. How have they fared?
Also, a good result from MTN Nigeria. They're seeing really good profit growth with their EBITDA margin increasing 2% to 53%. And that's very much in line with the lower target of their goals for 2025. So they've said they want an EBITDA margin of between 53 and 55% by 2025, and they're already there at the bottom. So really positive movements there on the back of really strong cost savings and then also strong revenue growth. I think another one to point out is that, MTN Nigeria, along with all the other telcos in Nigeria, have come under pressure with subscriber growth due to just the regulations where no new SIMs were allowed to be sold. But they are now in Q4 seeing growth for the first time this year, so that's certainly positive for the year to come.
Rella Suskin, thank you very much for that markets update. She is head of research at Benguela Global Fund Managers.